I hated Father's Day when I was growing up. Come every June, my grammar school teacher assigned her class the activity of making Father's Day cards and gifts. I scribbled those crayons, splattered those paints, and shredded those papers, and made the best Father's Day card and gift that the world has ever seen. But when I returned home, I had no one to give them to. I remember the pained expression on my mother's face as she said, "I will make sure that he gets them." For the first time in my young life, I realized I was different from other children at school. I didn't have a father. So Father's Day always reminded me of the father I lacked. 4 years ago, I arrived in Albuquerque just before Christmas. My father's stepchildren from his third marriage had moved out of his pottery studio home, and his third wife had left on a visit to her brother. For the first time in my life since the divorce, I had Dad all to myself. Albuquerque's oldest black sorority, Alpha Kappa Alpha, planned an awards dinner for my father's long career in pottery. My father planned to attend the awards dinner alone until I arrived. I thought, this is interesting. My father never once came to my birthdays, graduation, or awards dinners. Now he expects me to come to his? It would be real easy right now for me to say, "No, Dad, I'm busy tonight," and let him go to that awards dinner alone and feel what I felt when I looked from the stage and saw his empty seat in the audience. But if I treated my father the way he treated me, I would be no better than my father. So I said, "Okay, Dad, I'll go with you." Keys jangled in my father's hands as he said, "Well, I'm ready to go," and he headed towards the door. I took one look at him. My father wore a baggy sweater which came from the neighborhood of Mr. Rogers' corpse. His head sported a roadkill fur hat with floppy, goofy ear flaps. Dried clay caked his clothes. I barred the door. "Dad, Dad, Dad!" I know it's cold outside, but you cannot go out like that. I needed 3 articles of clothing to transform my portrait of a father into an African prince. An oversized black leather jacket to hide his wasted body. A black and jade, a necklace with a carved shark tooth pendant, and a pill-shaped Hausa cap with Africa printed in front. Many of us have Norman Rockwell memories of our parents fussing over our suit for our bar mitzvah, or our tie for a graduation, or our dress for a wedding. I had no such memories with my father. This was it. This is my only opportunity to live vicariously through my father and prepare him for his awards dinner as I wanted him to prepare me for mine. I stood back and said, "Wipe the food from your mouth. Now you look like my father." We drove to the awards dinner held in an Indian gaming casino which resembled a Mayan pyramid with a frozen fountain in front. The Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority sisters praised my father to high heaven and awarded him a big etched glass trophy. My father took to the podium and thanked them while I stood in the audience and applauded. I didn't have a good picture of my father and me together, except for those baby pictures when I'm held in his arms. So when I saw an event photographer, I paid him to take a photo of my father and me holding his award in front of a Christmas tree. 3 years later, my father died of prostate cancer. Before his memorial service, my supervisor, Bill, a bearded man who resembled Moses, called me into his office and announced, "Andre, the California State Legislature has just awarded you with a certificate of recognition for your work with the developmentally disabled." I paused, then burst into tears. Bill asked, "What's wrong? Are you happy?" "No," I sobbed. "I just wish my father was here to see me receive this award." Bill hugged me like a father would hug a grieving son. A month later, as I stood at the podium receiving my award, I looked out at the sea of faces and saw a stranger in a seat where my dad should have sat. That Christmas that year, I placed the picture of my father and me on the mantle. But now I moved it to his altar year-round. Whenever I get a bit of good news, I greet the picture of my father and say, "Hey Dad, guess what happened today?" Thank you.